Welcome everyone for the ICF Chennai Charter Chapter March L&D session. Please let us know where you're all joining from.
Hi, I'm Sita, joining from Hyderabad. I'm right now driving, so I wouldn't be able to talk much.
Sure. Thank you. You can put it in the chat box from where you're joining. Raj from Chennai, Salem, Mumbai, Saudi Arabia, Gurugram, Portugal, Panaji, Zurich. We have covered from Zurich to Goa to Saudi this month. Bangalore, Canada, Mumbai, Germany, Shanghai. Welcome once again. We look forward to the next 1.5 hour with you all. Rajat, how would you like to take the questions? Would you want the participants to, would you take it in between your session, or would you want us to put it at the end of the session?
No, anytime in the session. Let's have a conversation rather than a, presentation. Yeah.
Kuwait, Tanzania. Kannan, I hand over the session to you.
Thank you, Varna. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, from wherever you're joining from. Thank you for joining us today. We welcome you for this webinar, Learning and Development webinar from ICF Chennai Charter Chapter. We have a very important topic that's on all our minds about how do we manage our own fatigue. So I'm sure all of you would have experienced it at some point in time or other in your respective journeys, whether with the client or after the session or during the training. So let's hear from Rajat as to how do we really tackle that. Sometimes coaching is pretty lonely. Rajat is a very dear friend and a coach trainer. I got trained under him for some time. That's about a decade back. Have been to supervision session under him and have also had a lot of one-to-one mentoring conversations with them. So he wears all the three roles according to me for my interaction and a great friend. So that's the fourth dimension to our relationship. So welcome, Rajat. Thank you for giving us this your time and the gift to our coaches on this important topic. So Aruna, would you like to introduce Rajat?
Thank you, Kannan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So it will be a pleasure, Kannan. And before introducing Rajat, I would like to just share a few points regarding the CCU certificates and all these things. So for those of you who are joining regularly, you know our process. For those of you who are joining new this time, we will post in the chat box a Google form which has feedback as well as you need two information. We will post opening password for this session in another 10 minutes, and we'll have a closing password. So please note the passwords and save with you. So in the Google form, you need to put in your opening password and closing password for this session, and then given your right email ID. Sometimes the mails are bouncing and then we're getting back the ring that we did not get the certificate. So please make sure that you put in the right email ID, and please submit the Google form if you want your CCU certificate. And we will be mailing the CCU certificates within 10 days from now. And the deadline for submitting the Google form is 22nd March. So please make sure that you submit before 22nd March. So this is about the CCUs. And now it's a pleasure to introduce Rajat. Of course, many of them know Rajat very well, more than I know him actually. And I think Rajat needs no introduction in the Indian coach community circle and abroad as well. But those of you who are joining new, again, let me introduce you. It's a pleasure to introduce Mr. Rajat Garg. He's an award-winning CXO coach and an entrepreneurial leader with over 24 years of professional experience. He's a master certified coach and past president of Global Enterprise Board of ICF. He co-founded Meeraq and Coach to Transformation, spearheading initiatives that have positioned them as leaders in the coaching industry. He is a CXO coach working with top leadership organizations, a mentor coach, and a supervisor for coaches globally. His diverse career includes a role as vice president at Accenture, where he led the technology consulting practice in India. His career is dedicated to empowering top-tier leadership and promoting excellence across various industries. Beyond the boardroom, he finds joy and balance in farming, connecting with the land, and practicing sustainable agriculture. Rajat, I know when I asked for your bio, you said only 2 lines, I know, but I couldn't resist sharing the details with all our participants. Over to you now. Now we all will listen to
Yeah.
Rajat's session.
And one second before Rajat takes over, Rajat, if I may recall, Rajat used to be one of the youngest MCCs when he got MCC at that point in time, about a decade ago, right? So in the country.
Thank you so much.
You, Rajat.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. And I was telling Kannan and everyone before we started saying, actually my coaching career started in Chennai as a business of coaching itself. Right. So at that time, we had developed the market for Coacharya in Chennai, along with CV Subhash and me, and Kannan was part of one of the batches there as well. So that's how Chennai is related to me. And I have lived in Chennai as well for more than 4 years. So, and my family entirely loves Chennai. So any day we can move there, kind of place. But thank you so much for the warm welcome, everyone, and pleasure to be here. And I see there is a diverse group of people, and I'm assuming a lot of you are already trained coaches, and some of it, the construct that I am going to talk about might not have happened to you yet itself, but I'm inviting you to see this as something that might happen as you grow as a coach in the industry. And it would be a great thing to just carry on and be aware of within yourself when it starts happening too. But I had sent an assessment link. I understand a lot of people might not have filled it because of privacy concerns. And as I was telling Kannan, it's become, so if coaches within a coaches community have privacy concerns that I have, then I have a concern about things. And but some people did submit the assessment, and that I'll show you the results as part of the process. And it's an interesting data point already. So be ready for when it comes in front of you saying, hey, is this true? Is this what is happening to coaches in the industry as well? Right. So before I start, we do have almost 1.5 hours. So any questions to me before I start what I want to talk about? I can quickly answer those pieces, and then I would, because it clears up the space for everyone, whatever questions they have at the start, and then everybody's available for the session then. So any questions you have for me, which I can answer? Anyone? And I like to have a conversation and not a presentation construct. It takes a minute before people decide I should speak up. And I see a lot of friendly faces right here. A lot of people I know very well, from Ravi Panikar to Jose, Amlesh out there. Sangeeta is here as well. It's a lot of familiar faces. Hi, Anuradha Sant. Hi, RKT. Long time. Pankaj, good to see you. Any questions? No questions? We are okay with this interesting, curious bunch. So
I can go.
yes, me too.
Yes. So this has been a personal experience that before the client session ended, something came up that brought a lot of heaviness in the client, and the session was just ending, right? Just when we do the last bit. So after the session ended, I was not sure. Like, I also felt heavy seeing the heaviness, though we say that we stay detached. But just that, because the session was ending and this happened, so it also brought in some heaviness inside me, and I wasn't sure what is the action that I should take. I should let the client, believe in the client's potential to take care of themselves, that they will get out of it on their own, or and also making myself understand that this is okay, this is a process, and this happened just before the session. So how to make myself understand, and also, I mean, taking care of client is one thing, but taking care of myself, yeah, that was the question. What should I think?
So your question is more related to what I'm going to talk about. So the answers lie there, right? So thank you for sharing the experience. I'll use it in the session, and then we'll get to an answer as well, Mitu, right? So thank you so much. Definitely will answer that part. Any other questions for me before I start? Any piece, anything around coaching? Yes. Awesome. Hey, Vinod, good to see you.
Rajat, good evening. Good to see you.
Okay. Since I won't be seeing a lot of you at the same time when I'm presenting, so please unmute yourself, keep asking in middle, keep talking in middle. And as I said, this has to be a conversation, not a one-way street. Else, I don't have many slides to show, right? So, okay. The reason we all become coaches, right? The core reason that we all become coaches is we are natural empaths. Does everyone agree with that? Right? At the core of all the coaches lies the fact that we are empaths. And that is what we have figured out over the years about ourselves. It's not that you have mentored people. It's not that you have helped people. It's not that you have done many things out there in the industry. It's just the bare minimum, the more core part of you is you are an empath, right? And you love, because of being an empath, you need to help people, you want to help people, and the satisfaction that you derive, the happiness that you derive is because of that core feature of each one of you, that you are an empath itself, right? Anybody has any refuting fact around that, saying, no, this is not true? Or do we all agree? We all agree? Okay. Nobody seems to be challenging my point. So, and the fact being that we operate in a very people-centric role. While we might see our system as one coachee at a time, what we forget about coaching is that you're part of an industry. You're part of a domain itself. You're not just interacting as a coach with a coachee, you're also interacting with the stakeholders around the coachee, the organization that is getting the coaching done, the community that you are part of in coaching, your peer coaches, your friends in the coaching industry, the ICF as a federation or EMCC as a federation, and all that. You are part of a domain and not just a coach who coaches people. Yes, Maheshwari Jani.
Rajat, I slightly differ with what you just mentioned about being empath. Okay. Empathy does not really ensure that you would come into coaching.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. But what is, this criteria or thought, how you came that, natural empaths become coaches?
They are
Because
more.
at time because I work as a corporate coach, okay? And of course, very categorically, the outcome has to be in my back of the mind what really sponsor wants. Okay. So in that case, how much empathy and how much not empathy one should focus on?
I'm not saying you should showcase, I'm not talking about showcasing empathy here. I'm talking about your core system being an empath. You might not show it in a session. But the reason you got attracted to the profession of coaching comes from that fact that you have natural empathy within you.
Okay.
Right? While as a coach, you might want to not showcase that empathy because how the session is going, the relationship is, whatever the requirement of that session is or the journey. But your derivation of satisfaction comes from the fact when something changes in their lives. They find something valuable, they change their life, they transform their system, they become better than what they were before. So that satisfaction, that happiness that you derive comes from the fact that you have empathy at your core, right? It gets satisfied during the process. I'm not talking about showcasing empathy as a process.
Okay.
Right? It's who you are, the being of yours. It's right. And that is what drives you. That is why it becomes passion. So I still remember, right? So I was working in Accenture and I attended the first 3 days of my training program on coaching. I went home and resigned. Right?
Okay.
What emerged from me in those 3 days was, this is my place. It had nothing to do with showing empathy.
Okay.
Was the fact that I can help people in a certain way. I have a structure now to help people. I used to mentor earlier, but this gave me a very cleaner way of working with people and helping them.
Okay.
And that drove my passion till date. It still drives. Satisfaction comes when people say, I am, literally when a client says, I am happy, Rajat. That's a satisfying moment for me.
So, Rajat, one thought which is striking me when you're talking about it, so of course there could be certain coaches who would be working on empathy as a skill, okay? And when you said about, there's a transformation in the coachee, this is also coming from a need of a value system where people really enjoy transformation of another person. So can we call this as all a way of empathy also?
Say more. I didn't get that connection. Why?
Okay, I said, there's a coach. Okay. Empathy is at a lower end. Okay. He is practicing building his empathy. Okay. And the transformation he witnesses in a coachee might arise from a value system of a coach that he enjoys people transforming.
Correct.
Is
And
that's it's not necessary that empathy could be a very natural factor for a coach, a particular coach.
it might not be a natural process for them, right? But they still have empathy at their core. They might not be able to showcase it with skill.
Okay. Got it. Thanks for clarity. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. So we are moral. So you understand the point, and thank you so much, Maheshwari, for bringing out nuance to it as well, and it helps in the journey. So if we are natural empaths, right, what do we do to show it throughout our journey, right? We build deep, trusting relationships, which help us connect to our client and to their emotions as well. So what Meetu just shared was a connection at an emotional level with the client, saying, when the client went emotional, I also felt emotional, right? The transference that happened from the coachee to the coach in Meetu's case is because of the relationship, the trust, and the connection that Meetu has already formed with the coachee, right? So the transference of emotion is happening towards your side as a coach, and you are continuously engaged with challenges and narratives which include emotional strain, because by default, one of the basic questions that we keep asking is, how do you feel, coachee? How do you feel, coachee? And there's so much of emotion, so much of feelings being shared with you all the time. And we want to delve deeper into those emotions. And when people speak emotions and the language of emotions, the connection becomes deeper, because then they are talking about something about their whole being itself through emotions. So the connection for you becomes stronger and stronger with every conversation which you have as a deep conversation with your coachee, right? Sometimes because of that, the connection that we create with our coachee, we might cross boundaries as well. And I'm sure many of us, including me, right, have crossed those boundaries between how much we are supposed to do and how much we end up doing with a coachee, right? How much support we are supposed to give as a journey versus how much support we actually give to the coachee. Sometimes you might have coaches who will want to talk to you as many times. They might ping you on WhatsApp. They might call you for 5-minute conversations, and you still reply on that WhatsApp. It's you still, pick up that call because you don't want them to feel distrusting of this relationship. You want them to feel that you are there for them, right? So you basically end up overextending yourself, and sometimes take on the burden of change as well on you, saying, hey, and this is something that happened to me long time back as well. And this was after me being an MCC, right? I had a client, who was not changing. I literally started talking in those sessions because I wanted desperately for that person to change, right? I was talking a lot more than I would actually, that 20-80% rule that we follow. We start overextending ourselves because of the whole core of empathy that we have within us. We want to help. We want to help deeply our coaches. And the more and more, while this is part of where the connection happens, there is the high volume of work, client work, that is coming our way now as well, right? Startups like Coach Hub, or the US startup, sorry, forgetting the name. Anybody knows that names? The US based startup on coaching. BetterUp. Thank you so much. So, right. So they're able to give large amount of quantity work to coaches. I've heard coaches talking about, I do 80 sessions a month, right? 80 sessions a month a coach is doing. So you are managing multiple clients, sometimes back-to-back sessions. And with every session, the issue is changing, the human is changing, the context is changing for you. You're like any other CEO who goes from meeting to meeting, from a finance meeting to a marketing meeting to a, operations meeting to a strategy meeting in a single day. And his or her context keeps on changing from meeting to meeting. And they're supposed to be as incisive, as available to everyone who has come for that meeting, to be with them and take their advice or whatever they come for as well. Coaches are literally doing that with, back-to-back sessions. You're changing context so much every time. Right? And the last, we also want to hold ourselves with high, and it is a self-driven model for us that we want to provide high quality work to our clients. That's what our passion drives us towards as well. We just don't want to do the job and go away. We want to do our jobs at high quality, high standards. It doesn't matter if ICF creates an ethics document or creates a competency framework. It's just who we are as coaches. We want to help, and hence high quality is important for us. Right. And as I said earlier, the drive to be always be there, sometimes at the cost of us in the process. Right. I'm going to take a pause. I would love to hear some thoughts, some examples, like Meetu shared her example, any other examples, thoughts that any one of the areas that you have faced or are going through currently, or if any other point you want to add to this slide itself. Yes, Vibhu.
Hi, Rajat. Interesting point. I can relate with it. The way I relate with it, and this is something very recent, maybe as recent as a couple of months back, wherein I was reflecting, journaling, and observing, wherein the tendency to come to the rescue of the coach, taking a little burden, and with the value system that I operate from to serve others, to support others, and that actually not sometimes, I mean, you have to be in control of and self-regulate as to how much it is helpful or how much it is actually serving yourself. So I relate with it. At the same time, I also have a question when you made a point that, there are some coaches who are actually doing 80 hours or so on, so forth, not really on the hours, but actually, what's your sense as to how many hours or how many coaching sessions in a day generally a coach remains, I don't know whether there is a research or not, but how many generally remains, not really very fatigued, but also it's in control or maybe in manageable. What's your sense?
So there are many conversations that I've had, Vibhu, on this topic in the past as well. So there are coaches who do 4 to 5 sessions in a day as well, each typically from 60 to 90 minutes in itself. My belief is anything which extends more than 4 or 5 hours in a day as a process becomes a challenge, unless you are able to take care of yourself very quickly itself and come out of the earlier session to be ready for the next session. You have practices done ready for all that, right? But ideally, for me, at least the way I work, I don't do more than 3 sessions in a day, right? Because the investment you are doing, the emotional investment you're doing, apart from the intellectual investment, right, is at a very different level compared to a manager or a senior manager or a CEO in the organization, right? They have decision fatigue. They make too many decisions. But as a coach, you literally invest your emotions in every session along with your mind and your body as well, right? You have to be alert. You have to be available. You can't be relaxing backwards, right? Your body also has to be alert and available to the client. Right? You can't be seeing lacking and, resting yourself and just doing this, sitting like this or that. You have to be like in a certain way, smiling or being available in a manner which shows empathy as well. So there's a lot of all 3 areas getting stressed out in the process.
Sure. Thank you very much, Rajat, for your views.
Thank you, Vibhu. Anandita?
Yes, Rajat, in some of the sessions, clients come in, suppose they are performing in a high pressure environment or something, and they come in so stressed, as if they are again ready to perform. They are on the go and they are in no mood to calm down. And you also feel as a coach that just a few breaths are not going to bring them down. And that is a perfect situation for even throwing me as a coach out of balance sometimes.
Yeah.
And so what would you suggest we should do in such situations?
So it's perfectly fine to be human, Anandita, in front of your clients. You don't have to be superhuman as a coach. It's a partnership, right? You're not supposed to show the way to the client. Always remember that. You're not supposed to lead the way or show the way to your clients. You're supposed to be there for your clients. So if you're seeing them hassled, troubled at the start of the conversation itself, just check in with them. and say, and declare it. What are you seeing or noticing about them? And that awareness is what they don't have in that moment, saying, am I hassled? Because they are hassled. So they don't recognize that first. So your journey is to notice, observe, and put it out there. You seem to be in a particular state, whatever you're noticing, don't declare hassled. You just declare what you're observing. What are they doing? They're still, putting things around. They're, cleaning up space, whatever they are doing. And you just notice, observe, wait for them and say, hey, I see you doing all this. What's happening? Right? And once they start talking, oh, okay, I just wanted to have some clear space. And where's the need coming from to have a clear space? You don't have to start coaching on a topic. You can start coaching the human who has come in front of you. Making sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Vinod?
Yeah. So when I'm looking at this together, I'm just trying to ask myself the question is, how is this connected probably to the coaching mindset, and a couple of things which are coming, which is around attachment, detachment is coming up as one, and probably regulating emotions, one's own emotions in terms of, as a coach, if I were to respond to these observations. Just wanted to check in that this comes down to somewhere, when I look at it in total versus a line by line, it's coming down to what's the mindset you bring to the conversation and after the conversation. That's my first observation or a reaction that's coming up.
I understand, Vinod. And what I'm sensing is you're trying to get to an answer of how to handle it, right?
Or what may be happening if I were to experience this. So yeah, I'm getting into an inquiry. Yeah, correct.
So what I'm requesting you is to take one more step back and say, when do I go through this? Don't try to find the answer for it yet. Right? Do I also go through this? And when do I go through this? With what kind of clients do I do this?
Okay.
In what kind of situations do I do this? So I would rather want you to inquire around that with self and not try to get to the answer of where it fits, how it fits, what could be the potential piece afterwards. The intent is to create that awareness about first when, where, how I get into this.
Clear. Very clear. Thank you, Rajat.
Yeah, thank you so much. Krishna, you're on mute if you're speaking.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Rajat. Yeah, so this phenomena that you have brought up is pretty relevant, that we tend to respond with our own emotions beyond that time and space to what we undergo with the coaching, right? Whether it's, and also in the moment, whether we are kind of, feeling sad, bad, joyful, ecstatic about whatever the coachee is talking to us about, right? It's not a dispassionate way of looking at it, but it's more that we are also getting emotional about it, right? And in that sense, the world of therapy has a name for it. They call it transference, right? So are there techniques that we could employ that would reduce or mitigate the effect of the transference?
Correct. One part of what I'm talking about is transference, Krishna. That is where the client, the client is passing on their emotion to you. That is, right. So if they are feeling down, you start feeling down. If they are feeling happy, you start feeling happy. So transference is when you are sort of mirroring what the client is feeling, right? But I'm talking about larger than that and saying the concept itself of you wanting or needing the client and investing in the client emotionally all the time, in a session, outside the session, and everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. That is not just transference. Transference is in the session, it is getting passed on to you, what they are feeling. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's say you are in a tri-party session, let's say a mid-review, and you know that this client is hard to change. And here comes the manager, he says, I don't see much change.
Right.
What happens to you in that moment? Mm. There is no transference of a coaching session happening here, but you also feel bad along with it for the client.
Right. Mm.
So the emotional investment, even in a not coaching session, I'm talking about the constant emotional piece that is happening with you in attachment to your clients in the session and out.
Right.
And that is the challenge, bigger challenge than just transference. So itself, making sense?
Right. Yeah, true. I mean, I'm saying that whether it is in the session or outside of the session, the world of counseling has a name which or a phenomena, maybe a part of this phenomena. But then what are the techniques that we could actually employ to ensure that we stay dispassionate?
Yes, and we'll come to that. So as I said to Vinod as well, let's just first try to become aware of when, where, how I get into this space as a coach, right? The self-awareness is here.
So in my personal experience, Rajat, I see myself flitting in, but also flitting out consciously the minute I become conscious, even as I coach. There are moments when, in spite of myself, I flit into such a situation. And sometimes quite immediately, I become aware that I'm in such a situation where I'm emoting with the coachee and I need to be dispassionate. So I flit back. So it's a bit like how it happens with meditation. So you are in a deep meditative state, or sometimes there is a distraction, you get distracted, mind wanders, but you bring the mind back into the meditative state. So it's sometimes a conscious process. I'm just wondering if there's anything else that we could do to minimize that.
Yes. And
in my experience, yes, it happens sporadically. I wouldn't say it happens often, but sporadically, yes.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. So the answers are much simpler for the situation, right? The situation itself is not understood yet by a lot of coaches. What's could be triggering when they are getting triggered and what's happening to them. And that is what I want to bring to the fore first.
Right.
Let's understand how you are getting there. When are you getting there? What's happening to you itself? Can we first identify? So the topic today is recognizing first, right? That you are there. And you seem to have understood when you are there in a coaching session itself, that you become passionate or you become connected on an emotional level. You're able to bring yourself out in that moment. But there are a lot of us who have started picking up calls. We pick up the calls of a client. Hey, what do you need? Even if you have a contract which says you don't have to, you just want to be available. You are there for them. And that's what I'm saying, the drive to always be there. How many of us do that? Which adds up to you overextending yourself. It adds up to your high volume of client work. Every conversation on WhatsApp adds up to your client work, right? Sure. Thank you so much, Krishna. Jolly.
Yeah. The awareness is probably.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Jolly.
Great. See, Rajat, I was actually coming from a contrarian point of view. So I was intrigued by the topic itself.
Yeah.
So when I look at myself, although I'm still in the journey, I still have to complete my ACC certification, which will just in the next few days. I have around now 90 or 100 hours of coaching, some inside and some outside. I was wondering, does even fatigue occur? So if you are enjoying the process, if you are passionate, and if you are enjoying the process of supporting and helping others, when will that fatigue occur? For example, I have never, experienced that. So that is when I raised the question. But after having listened to you and few others and this sheet, this slide, which is available to me right now, that yes, if like Rajat, if I have too much client work and I may feel exhausted, if there is pressure, I may feel exhausted. So I was actually coming from a very contrarian point of view, that if I'm passionate about something, can I not set my boundaries and say, okay, this is what I enjoy and this much how much I can do. So let's keep doing it. So fatigue may not even occur in the first place.
The passion and boundaries are the contrary view itself. When you are boundaries very easily.
Got it.
You don't even
true. That happens.
Because you are so passionate, you don't realize what you are doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah.
You can continue with other questions.
Thank you so much. Anu.
Hi, Rajat.
Yeah,
Here. I'm not able to do raise the hand since I'm driving. Is it okay if I ask the question? Preeta here, Rajat.
Hi, Preeta.
Yeah, great to see you, Rajat, and great to be a part of this session. And on the point that passion, doesn't really tell you where the boundary is where I had my question on, because I'm very passionate about it, and sometimes it just goes beyond. You just keep working, and then the family is asking you, what is it that you're doing so much inside that room? Closing your door. So it's just that's where I need to sort of, as a person, draw the boundary more and more. So I would really be happy if you can, as to how have you, done that, like in your experience.
Sure, and I'll come to that, Preeta.
Sure, thank you.
So let's stay with the recognizing of this part, and then solutions we'll take up later. Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, Anu.
Yeah, I think interesting you brought this up because I think many of us don't pause to recognize this for ourselves. And yeah, now after coaching for so many years and also trained under you, I realize this happens to me when I'm not at ease with my own self. And typically, we say as a coach, we need to work on ourselves and to really empty ourselves and balance ourselves before we enter into a coaching session. And when I'm not any of that, I do see getting involved in what the coach is saying, and many times the need is mine, and that's what I've come to realize, that the need is not the coach's need. It is my need to feel more valued. It's my need to be the savior or the helper or whatever it is, right? So when I really reflect on the session after it's over, and I say, okay, so what was I doing there? And that's where the realization comes. And I think I've come to a realization that if I'm not at ease with myself, getting into a coaching session at that point of time is a derailer for me.
Yes. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Anu, for sharing that. I think it will resonate with a lot of people as well. Thank you. Priyanka?
So this thing, actually, I'm struggling a lot from last few months, and what I've observed is that whenever my coach is sharing something which I myself have encountered at some time, I tend to empathize more. And this thing, so all four things, definitely I had, it was very emotionally draining, and I had to take many coaching sessions from my coach to just come out of it, because that those emotions stay with you. I felt drained at some point of time. But the thing that changed for me is that when my one of my coaches told that, I was happy because you kind of I got a kind of go ahead from you, or I felt as if you were with me over this. But it was not like that. But the way she said it felt to me as if I was kind of agreeing to her narrative. And that is when I started listening my recordings in those specific situations where I felt that I was being more empathetic. I came to know that I'm actually reinforcing their their narratives or whatever, because I also felt that way. And that was like a big, for me that was a big thing, because I had no idea that this was something that I was doing, or the other one was feeling that way. And so I always feel empathy is a very double-edged sword. You need to have to build the trust, okay, but if it's too much, then also it's an issue. So I always juggle to how to switch on that empathy, and also when to switch off, so that your coach doesn't feel that, okay, you as a coach are reinforcing whatever they are saying.
True. And did you notice your empathy levels apart from that coachee? What was happening? Were you at the same empathy level with the rest of your coachees, or at home, or wherever friends?
This thing, actually, I normally have that empathy around each and everyone. But in certain situations or certain coaches, what happens is that I tend to get too involved, in that person, in their feelings. And when somebody is crying, okay, and this is a big thing, if somebody cries in front of me, I do hold the space, but somewhere I also get lost in that minute or two, and I don't know, my brain freezes at that moment.
And
And that is
what would happen if you do after this coachee has cried in front of you, and you are also managing self and the whole what is happening in that moment? And let's think, if you were to do another coaching session immediately after this, how
I've done
will you be then to the other person?
I have done, and that is why I keep a cap of at least an hour. And if such type of thing happens, I reschedule, because when I went to another session after that specific session, I was not 100% there as a coach. I was itself feeling down. I don't, maybe it happens to me, or I don't know what happens, but I'm so emotionally down at that point that I'm not able to connect with the other client,
I know.
because maybe my slate is not clean. You need to have an empty slate. That is normally, what we say, my slate is never cleaned at that point.
Not about the slate, it's about you have exhausted a resource in yourself, right? Empathy is a resource. You gave too much of that in that session, so you have depleted your resource for someone else.
Then I think we need to refill, right? Only then we are able to show up for another session.
Need to refill. So empathy is not an unending concept. It's a resource which is limited in you. Please understand.
Right.
You have to spend it, it gets spent. You need to rejuvenate.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Priyanka, for sharing this. Theodora.
Hello. I wanted to share two things that kind of resonated with me and some of my thoughts on that. The first one is what someone else has also said about when other people don't understand what we're doing, as well as the amount of time that we spend with clients. Because since coaching, like therapy, is a little bit newer than many other professions, a lot of people don't have the understanding yet of how much emotional consumption there is in the sessions and in the work that we do. And I feel like also from talking to friends of mine who are coaches or therapists, they often feel judged by other people that they're not working 8 hours per day or 10 hours per day, like their partners or their friends or whoever. And that causes a lot of blame and even more pressure that we can put on ourselves to keep up with others, especially if we're not aware of this aspect. And the other thing that I've noticed, and it's something that I worked a lot on myself in the last few years, is imposter syndrome, that I think can also like eat at our self-confidence, and that also creates drain and exhaustion and fatigue. And what I've realized for myself is that I can beat imposter syndrome by switching my mindset from how can I contribute, from my ego needs to how can I contribute. So rather than focusing on my performance or proving to myself that I'm a good coach, to just think about how can I really contribute in this moment, right here, right now with this person. And for me, this has like really lowered my level of stress and fatigue in my practice. So these are my two thoughts.
Help me understand, what kind of imposter do you feel in a session?
I don't feel it so much anymore, but a couple of years ago, I felt like, oh, I'm not qualified enough to do this, or, oh, I'm not experienced or old enough to do this. Oh, my clients are 20 years older than me. Who am I to talk to them about these issues?
True. And the way I feel it is sometimes when the coach is talking about losing weight and I am not losing weight, I'm like, weird.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
So they're trying to make their world perfect, and obviously I'm not a perfect human being. So sometimes I feel it from that perspective, even I'm not doing this, right? So who am I to help this person then if I procrastinate and they're trying to solve the procrastination problem? So sometimes for me, the imposter comes from there.
Yes.
Right? But you realize, as I said earlier in the session, saying, I'm not supposed to lead their way, right? I'm not there to show them the path, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to be perfect. And that's what I have realized for myself. I don't have to be perfect. I'm here as a catalyst. I'm here as somebody they use for themselves.
As a human.
As a human, right? So they can use me in whatever way they want. What helps them? I'm here for that piece. Yeah. Thank you so much. That is super helpful. Yeah.
Rajat, if I may go next.
Sorry?
And if I may go next. Yeah, Krishna here. The more we spoke about things, all of a sudden I started feeling that I've lost the true meaning of resonance. Resonating, because that is a very loosely coined term, because whenever somebody writes something, we acknowledge, we say, I resonate with you. But in a coaching conversation, whose resonance should lead the way? Ideal situation is we both resonate well with each other, which is fine. But when the coachee is of a different level of a frequency, maybe it might be too low because of something that is bothering the person. Now, the person expects empathy. So now, as a coach, if you also resonate with the same set of emotions you acknowledge, the coachee is going to get enticed. You see a good reaction from the coachee. Inadvertently, if you start resonating more, you're going to be led by the coachee, right? So now, just playing back all this, I just thought maybe I'll just hear an expert view of what is an ideal view from a resonance standpoint.
So let me just quickly ask you a question. What makes you believe they need empathy?
What makes me believe they need empathy?
They are feeling calm, but they have empathy.
Well, okay. So they may not have asked for empathy. Yes, definitely, I agree. But the thing is, the very reason they are sitting there is because they want somebody to partner.
Yes, not empathize.
Okay.
That is what Maheshwari, right, was saying. We don't need empathy. We have to be empathetic.
Okay.
The client has not asked for empathy. They're just feeling down, and that's fine. Your role has to be in that moment still be in a curious state of what's making you feel down. Right? You don't need to jump the boundary of saying, hey, I need to show empathy now. But that, and that's what I'm talking about, overextending ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. Crossing the boundary. This is the crossing the boundary. So I have to be here. That means the way I show I am here is now I should show empathy. Whereas your role in that moment is to inquire what their state of being, either emotionally or intellectually or body, from a soma perspective, what's happening. But when you start showing empathy, you're sort of giving away your role by default. If they've asked for empathy, hey, do you also believe this? Do you also think this way? Do you understand me? Right? That's them asking you in that moment. And then you say, I'm here. I understand. Here's my curiosity still, right? Because they are not there to buy empathy from you as a service. They are there to buy self-reflection. They are there to find answers, new solutions, new perspectives, new insights through you, right? But if you start showing empathy by default, assuming on behalf of the client, you are not in service, really. And that's the empath in us, right? The deep empath, which immediately comes for rescue. Let me first, hold them, embrace them, make them feel safe in this moment. I am here. And I understand that need, Krishna, right? But that's where you overextend. You do more than what is required. You are not really helping your client. Making sense, or I am way off?
No, absolutely.
Sorry, I twisted it around on you.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Krishna. Sangeeta.
No, quick point. When Krishna said, where is the resonance? It actually resonated with me because when I started my journey, I wanted to connect with the client when I was coaching them. And I remember one of my mentors saying, why do you need to connect? You're supposed to be there for the client. You don't need to connect. The need was in me. Yeah. So the resonance needing me there. Like we said, you hold the space with empathy, but you don't need to, have to have the connection. But over time, yes, it does build up because you have more sessions, you get to know them well. But it's very difficult to, keep it away. But you need to, isn't it?
It's who we are, as I said, right?
True.
And I understand we are all humans. Please always remember, don't become superhuman. You will make these mistakes or you will make these things happen in the moment. But are you aware of what you are doing? That is the most important part, recognizing it. And then you become a better coach than the past in that moment when you start recognizing it, right? Okay, quickly. So again, this might not be a complete list, but I have just categorized all this, what we spoke about, into 3 different types of fatigue that are possible. One is a compassion fatigue, right? And this is where you are doing deep work with clients. Again, a lot of live sessions, more or less, not a lot of professional coaching and all, but there's a lot of live, there is a lot of crying happening. There's a lot of, stuff that is being shared with you all the time, which is deep and which is emotional and all the kind of things, right? So it's like you're continuously in a state of empathizing and I am here. You're trying to prove again and again, it's okay, I'm here, right? As I said earlier, empathy is a depleting resource. So what will happen in the next session? You will have a depleted empath in you who's not available at the same level to your client. If you're doing too many of them continuously, then a sense of numbness might happen by the end of it. You might become numb to others at home, around you, because you have already exhausted everything in you. You will not be available to people around you after that, beyond your coaches. Burnout is more around the amount of coaching work you do. The amount of coaching, like if you are a part of the chapter, you are volunteering, you are doing coaching work, you are part of something else. So there's the work part of coaching. You're selling, you're marketing, you are sending invoices, you're doing all that as your profession. So burnout happens when there's a lot of that happening back to back to you. It's like any other burnout in the industry who work, and work creates burnout. This is coaching work I am talking about that you have, right? And the empathy fatigue, right? You are constantly, in touch. It's not like you are there is crying happening and all that happening in the sessions, but you are in a constant state of being empathetic towards people. Right? So they are not traumatic issue, they are not crying, they are not emotional from their perspective, but it's just the stories, it's just the construct of being there, as I said, physically present, physically being there, smiling or being available and all that. It's still a fatigue that will continue to happen, right? So I just divided into 3, obviously, and there might be more as well out there. I think Siddhika, I'm assuming the recording might be posted by Chennai chapter later on. Somewhere. So having said that, so I've sent an assessment report, assessment survey, not a tested survey. Please understand, this was just a survey. This is not an instrument. I just wanted to see how people respond to this assessment. And this is what came out. 38 people I got, by the time I took the dump, it was 38 people who had responded. Burnout. 7 of the coaches are saying they are already burnt. High, 7 number of people. I asked another question. There are 1 each in moderates who can move to high. They are just borderline cases as well, right? Compassion to moderate. So a lot of people, majority of the people are in moderate fatigues across the board. It is surprising, right? 21, 24, 23 sit in the moderate construct of fatigue, of burnout. And this is coaches who are supposed to be self-aware, self-available, taking care of self, the whole coaching mindset piece, right? And again, I'm saying these might not be true numbers. Please understand, I just created a survey just to get a test, just to get some data. But I'm hoping when you gave that assessment itself, it might have started creating awareness as well. The questions were very interesting when you were answering it, right? So you can reach out to me one-to-one. I am not sharing the individual piece here because of privacy, right? Which people were afraid of. So I am not sharing it here. It looks like we do need some coaching sessions. Yes.
But Rajat, can you share that to the individual email at least?
Yes. So I'll share my WhatsApp number. You can ping me on WhatsApp and I'll share it with you individually, your data. Yeah, what came out. I chose not to reveal the data to individuals. I just wanted this to be a data point here.
Understandable, very much understandable.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. How many people are surprised by this data? Can I hear some voices?
Not surprised, actually.
Interesting. And what's making you not surprised? So you believe that coaches are under stress or fatigue?
No, it's because I think sometimes coaches fail to recognize their own body symptoms when they reach burnout.
Yes.
And not taking enough support as and when it might be required through different ecosystem that coaches can create for themselves is what making me say this.
So in the process of helping everybody else, we forget to take help for ourselves.
Yes, that's true.
Right. But for me, it was like, I wanted to show you a picture, right? Without, now you know. And the reason of sharing this with you, now you are aware as well that it might be happening to you. Once I send you so the low people will be happy, but the moderates and the highs, when I send you your personal piece, when you reach out, right? Some of you might be surprised. Some of you might be aware as well. So when you are answering the questions, you might have started becoming aware already. How many answers were you answering from that context, right? But do reach out. I will share my number. And you reach out and you will get your individual report after that. Sure. Okay. Just checking on comments. I expect it to be higher.
Somebody wanted to share personal experience.
Okay, sorry.
Somebody wanted to share personal. Siddhika wanted to share.
Siddhika, go ahead, please.
Yes. Hi, good evening. I'm sorry I'm not able to switch on my camera.
That's okay.
So I'll just share I'm a very fresh coach. I just did my training some 6 months back. The realization came that like when you are a fresh coach, we join normally so many sessions like today's ICF Chennai chapter and then some other programs and some other programs. So I found that I'm overdoing it, and then if I have to be for the client, though I don't have many paying clients, but I realized that most coaches also are working somewhere else. We are also either employed or doing some other business because coaching is not a total 100% bread and butter for everyone, So I'm doing coaching, I'm attending sessions like this. I have a family. And then, I started that a point came that I became like, it was a burnout for me, and then I had to step back. I realized that I can't do everything, so there are 100 programs going on. Like today could be ICF Chennai chapter with some other programs as well. So you can't reach everywhere. And I think I took a step back in saying that I'll reach out where things are important. And like this fatigue also, I had in mind that actually coaches are facing burnout, writing on LinkedIn or being present elsewhere, but we actually become cranky and the worst thing is the people who suffer is our own family, actually. The first people, we literally become very bad with them, So coach burnout is there. We don't realize it because in fact we are doing 2 jobs or 2 work and then there's a lot of reading to be done. Maybe some people can do it, but I realized for myself that I have to take a step back and try to analyze myself, and I also do like when I do my coaching sessions or my peer coaching or my practice coaching, I just do like 2 or 3 a week, not even every day too, And And I decided that I'll go with my own pace. I don't want to follow some other person's path. Maybe people can do 4-5 sessions, but I had to take my own experience, my own body, my own environment, my own way of working, and that's how I think everybody should look into themselves actually to go ahead, Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adhika. Thank you. Vasu?
Hey, Rajat, good evening, and thank you so much for this session. Probably I was looking for the session and I really got it. Thanks to Chennai chapter, I should say. I'm a new coach, actually, just about 80 hours of coaching done. So approaching my ACC certification. Recently, I had a session with one of our cohort members, and this was, I would say, a real good experience because this gentleman came up with a topic of death and used the word at least 25 times in the 45-minute session that we had, something which I had never experienced. That completely drained me off. It was supposed to be a one-on-one session where I did it first and next day he had to do it. Yeah. And I just could not get over this at all because he had repeated this so many times. And for everything you said, this fear brings me death, this fear brings me things about death. So now I really understand how we need to get prepared and what can come in. Generally, when we do the usual coaching, it's very simple things that we go through. It's like get ready for the World Cup finals is what it is all about. Thank you for the session. Just wanted to share this.
Sure, Vasu. And you might want to do a conversation of that word death. What is the relationship with that word for you? Why it got you triggered emotionally? Right. Again and again. So there is certain piece out there with that word that you might want to talk about. Sure. Yeah. It will help you to be available next time this happens with the same word.
Makes sense. Thanks, Rajat.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and as people said, right, it's family members or friends who face such brunt again of your burnouts and everything that you're doing, your fatigue. The first immediate relationship is your family, and if you're not able to be empathetic for them, then it becomes a bigger challenge out there, right? So recognize this. Anybody else who has given that test, the assessment, if I have not added the date, I'll still send you your personal piece once you ping me. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have spoken about this, right? So emotional exhaustion that you feel at times, these are your warning signs, right? Emotional exhaustion. You are like, yes, Mitu.
Yes, I feel the fatigue of expectation of being a coach also. Like if I am a coach, then I am expected to be expected to behave in a certain way, to which I say that I'm not a coach always. When I'm coaching, I'm a coach. And because I'm into coaching, there is a different perception of me as a human being.
Who created?
Sorry?
Who created that perception?
Yeah.
I may have created it knowingly or unknowingly, and like adding the coach in front of my name. So that itself tells people that, I'm somebody else and I'm not a different human being maybe. And that expectation also brings in fatigue at times.
So you have let the marketing term called coach take over your, whole construct, right? Declaring yourself a coach. You have declared to yourself that now I have to be a different person in front of people itself.
Yes, it's not that I have to be different, but their expectation is different. Say when I am frustrated, then my family members or the close ones will expect that I cannot be frustrated because I am a coach. I have taken coach training. I know how to regulate my emotions. So I cannot express my emotions because I'm a coach and I've taken coach training.
Things and expectations you have put, right? As a coach, I have to regulate my emotion. People are expecting me to regulate. People are expecting a certain way to be a coach. You design the way you are, Mitu. People accept you. The coaches will accept you the way you are. There's no expectation from them typically. Whoever expects it a certain way, they are not your coaches. They will go to another coach. But finally, you will find the coaches that you connect with, they connect with you. And that's the best coaching. If you're trying to be something that others expect of you, that connection will never be concrete, right? I understand the need to sell as a concept of being a coach. Then people should be seeing me as a coach, certain way and all that kind of things. But over time, as you're mature, as you grow as a coach itself, just remember, you can be whoever you are. You will attract similar coaches who want that kind of coach for them. And that will be your best work. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Vinitra?
Hi, Rajat. Thanks a lot for taking this session. I just wanted to kind of just talk about my experience as to what could possibly lead to exhaustion. And one thing that I noticed is that coaching as a profession can sometimes be very, very isolating as an experience as well, right? When you're at work, when you're at a workplace, you could be a manager, senior manager, an analyst, anything. But then if something goes wrong, you can immediately turn around, commiserate with your fellow employees. But then as a coach, every experience is different, every client is different, and you're also bound by this ethics of confidentiality. So I think I've always noticed that sometimes when I do get, bogged down by fatigue, or sometimes I just need an outlet, there are times when I really look for a support network, right? Someone whom I could talk to, a fellow coach who could understand what I'm going through. But I've realized that it has to be an extra effort from our side to kind of build that support net, right? So I don't think it's something that comes naturally, because as coaches, we also want to make sure that we protect our clients' confidentiality, but also find someone who understands who we are as a coach, right? And empathizes with us. So this is just my experience, but I felt like when I've done a lot of these sessions, and I always felt that, hey, sometimes we don't need to talk about it, maybe not bring the client in question, but at least connect with a fellow coach and just try to relieve the stress of what it means to be a coach, because and that's just a perspective that I wanted to add.
Sure, and agree with you 100% that, say, coach is another role you play in your life, and along with the other roles that you are playing throughout your life, right? It's another role. It's not, you don't have to be a coach all the time. And this human who is also a coach needs to talk about things, be it about coaching or be it outside coaching. You don't have to take the confidentiality to talk about it, but you can still talk about yourself, the coach who was in that situation in a session.
Yes.
And what happened to you, what was happening to you, right? What were your emotions during that session? You can talk about all that. There is no breakage of confidentiality there.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, thanks a lot, Rajat. I do agree. I think it's just that, see, when you have multiple clients, you're sitting at home, right? You run your own business, potentially. You're not coming into an office where you have like other people, where there's this social element that's not there. You don't have the water filter conversations, right? So there's a way we need to, according to me, I've realized the need to kind of simulate that in my life in some way or form, for me to kind of just sustain my coaching journey. But yeah, I just want to share that. Thanks,
Anandita?
Yes, Rajat. I wanted to add something to what Neetu was saying before 2 minutes. Is that, for me, people don't have expectations just because I'm a coach. Rather, much before I became a coach, like the person that I am is somewhat of a coach. I carry your energy of a coach, always, very naturally. And I was always this person who was coaching and counseling people forever. Like I am the agony aunt, something like that. So now people normally come and share things with me. This used to be. And then in the middle phase, I was very withdrawn, from because I'm also a highly sensitive person, and I was very withdrawn. I would not socialize. Now, very recently, it came up to me that, okay, I have to network and all that. So I went out, and the response that I got from people was, anybody who sees me, you want to have an initial conversation and all. And even in that conversation, people want to overwhelmingly, they would get overwhelmed and share everything with me. There's no need of any contracting or anything. They just want to share. And they would like, I'm so surprised. I want to share everything with you and all that, And then I started working on this. I'm like, how will I manage this? This is creating a lot of burnout because everyone is coming and sharing and dumping their things on you. So then I thought, okay, I have to draw boundaries with them. But even drawing boundaries with them with empathy, even that I found is quite tough. Yeah. So, I mean, do you have a thought or two on this?
Are you ready to pay the cost of buying back your empathy from those people?
Can you ask me a different question? I'm not sure I understand.
So there is a cost that you are afraid of. If I don't give empathy or I take back the empathy that I have been showing these people, there is a cost associated.
Yeah, I have started telling them this, that, see, there's only limited amount of energy I have to say this, that I cannot do this. But you have to communicate that. You have to stop their flow of emotions and then communicate this with a lot of practicality. Yes, I am ready for that. but even, to draw it without really being offensive. Hey, I'm not going to listen to you, something like that. Drawing it with empathy. That seems difficult to me.
Yes, I know. And the moment you believe you are being offensive using those words, that I am overwhelmed, I'm not available to you in this moment, right? And what is the reaction of the other person? And what will happen if they feel bad, hurt, that I'm here pouring myself out and this person is not available to me, declaring I don't want to be available to me, right? Are you ready for that cost, Anandita?
I think so. I think so. Yeah.
So accept that you are ready for it. Next time, even if they feel hurt, you will figure out the language, Anandita. You will figure out the right words to say. You are assuming the hurt. You're assuming that they will not understand you. Try it and see what happens. You might be surprised with the empathy shown back. Making sense?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I have tried that a few times. It's not that difficult. People do understand. But, just communicating that takes energy also. That's the only thing.
That's the cost I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, right.
Your energy around.
Right. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm just checking chat. Which story, Sneha? Okay. People are using Copilot already. There's a human speaking. People are wanting to talk to AI while finding answers from AI. Still interesting. I love this. Okay, so the way obviously emotional exhaustion will show up in your lives is you will start getting irritated around you. You will see yourself getting irritated faster with people. If they try to intrude in some way or something, you will just snap back, right, out there. So you'll start seeing those patterns of irritation and, immediate snapping back on people and all that when you are emotionally exhausted. You will start obviously seeing when people are reaching out to you, as Anindita is talking about, right? There is that concept of, it's okay, I understand. You will not have energy. You will not be the same empathy levels that you will see that concept of slightly being aloof, detached. You will start seeing detachment from people as well. You will start seeing the physical you'll start seeing, physically you will stop sleeping better. Your sleep patterns will change. Your physical stress will appear. You might have lower back pain at times, or a pain on your shoulders because of the burden you are taking itself. So when you're coaching, notice these patterns. If you're finding lower back or at the shoulder level, if you are facing a lot of stress as well, that means you're taking a lot of burden in those moments. Check your sleep patterns. If you are more sleeping erratically, if you are not having the same pattern typically what you sleep lately, and also if you have started getting a sense of another session, I have to finish this also. I have another client. Oh, okay. Let me just go through this one more and I'm done with the day. Are you start seeing that job satisfaction issues that come, with any work when you are doing too much of it and you're like, oh, 1 more hour. When is my holiday starting? Oh, Friday, finally. 2-day weekend, I have nothing else to do, right? So you'll start seeing, if you're seeing those patterns, then these are your warning signs in life, right? Don't think of it as, it's okay. This is what it is. This is my business itself. Session blues, exactly, right, Sangeeta? Monday blues. Okay, I know another 3 sessions today. It's Monday, all right? So I know Venkat, attached, detached, and all this exist as a concept. These are all great concepts to know. How much do you do it is the challenge. So quickly, I know we are coming to the end of it, and I know most of the answers are pretty obvious, right? Use the same empathetic approach you show clients on yourself. That's the first step. Be empathetic towards yourself. Like Anindita is talking about, how do I tell them? Can you just show empathy towards yourself and say, I need this for myself. I don't have to. I don't need to, right? Show some empathy towards yourself and let it drive things. Affirmations. I'm doing my best. I deserve rest and care. How many of you can say it in this way? Say it wherever you are. Don't unmute yourself, but say it to yourself. I am doing my best. I deserve rest and care. Just declare it now. Say it, everyone. Say it loud. I am doing
my best.
with more energy. I am doing my best.
I am doing my best. I deserve rest
I
and care.
deserve rest and care.
I'm
Say,
doing my
I'm
best.
doing my
I
best.
deserve rest and
I
care.
am doing my best. I deserve rest and care.
how does
I'm
that
doing my best and I deserve rest and care.
how does that feel saying that aloud?
Feels good.
Feels good, feels human again, right? Just do this for yourself. It's helpful. Identify your personal strengths, adaptability, optimism, leverage them to handle the stress. I'm an adaptable human being, right? I can adapt to this situation as well. Right? That's my strength. Let me adapt. And the moment that you realize you have a strength of adaptability, your stress starts coming down again, right? Optimism. I'm optimist. This will work. This is great. This is awesome. Bring it back to yourself. Remind yourself of your strength. What can help you? Right? I'm doing great. That's what I'm doing my best, right? That's an optimism. Keep a highlight reel of successes, reminding yourself of positive outcomes. I think I read somewhere that people start, journaling about good situations, good outcomes. I think somebody used that in the chat. Very, very important. Keep them around for yourself. So whenever you're going through that exhaustion, it's like every other thing, right? You're looking back all your photos like you do for, reflection and memory and all the kind. You feel good about your school days or your college days when you look at those photographs of the past, right? It's a similar. You look at what you have achieved, who all you have helped, in what way have you helped them, right? The difference that you have made in so many lives. Embrace the idea that recognizing and addressing compassion fatigue is part of growing as a coach. This is your growth, and recognizing and addressing it itself is part of learning as a coach and growing as a coach all the time. Yes. Self-awareness is not a setback, but an opportunity to refine and improve. So being aware that you're feeling exhausted is not a setback. It's an awareness. It's an opportunity to take care of self. It's an opportunity to improve. It's an opportunity to learn. So don't run away from this self-awareness that because we might feel empathy fatigue is a sign of weakness. It isn't. So when you're becoming self-aware about your fatigue, it doesn't mean you are weak. It's a signal that caring for yourself is essential to continue caring for others. So when we start taking this fatigue as a concept of, oh my God, how can I have a fatigue? Oh my God, how as a coach, I can go through something like this. It's perfectly fine. Knowing yourself is a strength, not a weakness. Being aware of yourself is a strength, a weakness. It gives you the opportunity to care for yourself so that you can care for others. Yes, I'm going to stop the share. We are beyond. Okay, 1 minute beyond. Sorry for taking it beyond time. Anything that you still want to share quickly? Or share your thoughts, feelings around?
I'd like to take a picture if everybody could come on the camera and we'll click some pictures. So request everyone to come on the camera, please. Here I'm going. I'll say 1, 2, 3 so everyone can smile. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Rajat, over to you.
Thank you so much. Any last minute feelings, sharing that you want to do quickly, like last 2 minutes before I hand it over back to the chapter?
Hi, Rajat. Can I come in? Sorry, my raising hand is not working, looks like. I think this was a great session. I initially thought that I had to attend some other session. So I'll attend this just maybe for 10-15 minutes, have a feel of it. And, then maybe I'll move to the other one. But just see, I'm here till the end. So thank you so much. And I really appreciate it. Learned quite a lot. I think quite engaging session, and appreciations to the Chennai chapter as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Seema. Means a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So Rajat, just one quick thing. So JL here. For somebody doing a coaching business, I mean, I didn't see much of it coming here. That's another form of fatigue, right? So you're not clearly knowing where you're heading. Optimism might be there, but that's kind of a challenge. Where is the business going to come from? And the formative years is quite challenging, and it's a lonely journey. I just wanted to highlight that aspect.
Yes. The work of coaching involves marketing, selling, managing clients, stakeholders, everything, right? And that's where the burnout comes from. When you're doing too many things, getting the business part, you're running every day, getting rejected, not getting accepted by clients, even that rejection hurts, right? And what do we do with that hurt? We do not share that hurt with anyone when you get rejected by a client, right? So all that builds up. Thank you so much, JL, for sort of bringing it into a limelight as well. Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone. Back to you, Kannan, Mitu, and Krishna.
Thank you so much, Rajat.
Yeah.
And
Krishna,
everyone,
me too.
and as we close today's session, recognizing the fatigue and handling it, I hope we all are walking away with great practical insights and renewed commitment of our own well-being. So before we wrap up, I'm sharing the details of the next L&D session, which is on 16th April. The speaker is Jen Wilson, and the topic is blurred lines, coaching confidentiality, and organizational pressure. This talks about equipping coaches with practical tools and strategies for navigating the complexities of organizational coaching. And I'll just leave you with this thought by Eleanor Brown, a self-care advocate and inspirational speaker, who says, rest and self-care are so important. When you take time to replenish your spirit, it allows you to serve from the overflow. So you cannot serve from the empty vessel is a well-known saying. So thank you, Rajat, for reminding this and also giving us a wonderful affirmation. I'm doing my best and I deserve rest and care. So I'll keep this in mind and take care, everyone. And see you next time. We're still here. The room is open for a few more minutes. If anyone has to say anything, please go ahead.
I've shared my phone number on the chat. Anyone who wants to ping me. Don't expect a response immediately because I need to take care of my fatigue of this session. So I will respond, but be okay with a delayed response, please. Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Pleasure being with all of you, seeing a lot of faces, and thank you so much.
Thank you.